Kristen with the Rogers Public Library, and this week for Catch 'em All at the library, we will be focusing on Natu. So in your craft packet, you will have your coloring page. You will also have a little ping pong ball with some red feet already attached, made of pipe cleaners. Then you will have 2 red circles of paper, 2 yellow circles of paper, some eyes to cut out on white paper, and then 2 more square or rectangles of red paper with pieces to cut out. So the first thing that we're going to do is just cut out the pieces on the red pages and the eyes. And then I will show you how to make Natu. So once everything is cut out, the first thing we're going to do is take one of our yellow circles and we're going to cut into about the center. Just a little slit in the center. And then we're going to overlap these 2 open edges that we just made to make a little cone, and then we're just going to keep pulling both of those edges in opposite directions so that they roll up into a tighter cone, which is going to make Natu's beak. So it's okay for the little edges to be in different spots. They're not going to stay lined up perfectly. Once we have the beak as small as we want it, then we're going to take a glue stick or some other glue if you don't have a glue stick and glue that outside open edge shut. Then we can set that aside for a moment. We're going to take our other piece of yellow and cut it right in half. Once we have that cut in half, we can attach it to each of the red circles. And the red and yellow combined will make the wings. So we'll just add that yellow half circle onto the red circle so that we have half yellow, half red, and do that for both of them. Now, Natu's wings are yellow at the part that touches the body on the side, and then the tips of the wings are red, but they have black stripes. So we're going to take a black marker. We're going to draw on Natu's black stripes. So we'll draw on a black stripe that goes right across that center where the colors touch. And then we're going to draw 2 small fat lines from that line that we just drew out to the edge of the red wing. Then we'll do the same thing on the other wing. And then we can turn it over, and we want to be able to see where our wing lines are. So if you can see through your paper, great. If not, just kind of make a little mark where they are. And then flip it over, and we're going to draw that fat line on the other side in about the same place. Both of those lines that go from the edge back to the center, but it's not going to go all the way down. So we'll do that for both wings. Now we're going to take our ping pong ball, that is Natu's body, And we're going to take our little yellow beak. Now we want to gently either fold out or in a little bit the edges of the beak. And that is just to give us a more solid surface to add some glue onto so that this beak will stick to Natu's face. If you want to, you can pinch the beak a little to flatten it out somewhat. Not completely flat, but a little bit. Make sure you get plenty of glue and then find right about the middle of the ball, about halfway up from the feet, and stick that beak on there. There we have a beak. Now next we'll probably want to add his eyes. So the eyes are going to go above the beak and slightly off to the side. So we'll just put some glue on one eye and then go a little bit up from the beak and then off to the side. So the edge of the eye, the inner point of the eye, lines up just about with the edge of the beak. Then we will do the same thing for the other eye on the other side. All right. Now, for the top of Natu's head, we're going to take this little piece that looks like a feather that we cut out from our red paper. We're going to fold at the little small black line that separates kind of the feathery part of the feather from what we are using as the base to glue to Natu's head. So we're just going to put some glue on the small little rectangle at the bottom of the feather. We're going to stick that right on the center of his head. And then since we have folded that, it will make the feather stick up off the center of his head. Now, we're going to take our 3 red strips that we cut out and line them up into a little stack and then fold one way or the other just a little bit down so that each one has the same size little fold. These together are going to make up the tail. So we are going to add some glue to the fold that we just made, the smaller part of the fold. And we are going to add that to the back of our Natu. Right down towards the bottom, kind of in between the feet. And because we folded it, it will stick out. Now, we'll take our next rectangle and add some glue to the smaller part where we folded it. And now that is going to go over the part that we already glued on the tail. So the folded pieces are going to line up and be glued to each other to create the 3 little prongs and feathers of Natu's tail. So now our third piece, add the glue to the smaller folded edge. And then this one is going to go over the same spot as the others. So when the tail is all the way open, it looks like a straight line across with a line coming up, almost like you're gonna make a T or graph. And then when the pieces are folded, they make Natu's feathers of his tail. Now all we have left to do is add the wings. Now you can do this with the same glue we've been using, but they will be easily knocked off because they stick out from the body more than the rest of the parts. The tail and the head and the beak all stick out, but they have a little more solid base. There's a larger piece connecting them, whereas the wings are going to have a smaller part connecting, and they're just going to be easier to knock off. So you can use the glue stick that we've been using, but I am going to use tacky glue, and this will just give it a stronger hold. And if any of the other pieces fall off, you can add them back on with tacky glue. But for me, the glue stick has been enough. So we're going to take the wings, we're going to flip them over to the only red side and add some glue to the side of the wing that does not have the stripes on it. So it's the part that's on the other side of the yellow. And then we're just going to stick that right to the side of our Natu's body, which is made out of a ping pong ball, so that the yellow part is close to the eyes, but most of the wing is underneath the eyes. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. And then we have our completed little Natu. Now, while the tacky glue is drying, if that's what you've used, I would recommend setting him down on one of his wings, on his side, to dry. And then once he's all dry, then you can play with him and should stay together pretty well. But again, if anything comes off, just add some extra glue and you'll be fine. So that is our craft for this week. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time to make another Pokemon. Bye.